Place of contact, yes, we already know, for buyers and sellers. But most of the time, these days, things have changed. So we don't have to physically see each other before we transact. We can do that online. We have e-tailing. We have different platforms that we can sell and buy without even seeing each other physically. That's the part of the market. But today's focus is on market size. So when we're talking about market size, we're simply talking about to know how big or small a market is. You get what size is about here? How big or small the market is. But market itself is not just the market you see in Subjuma or the West. It's also an industry. You get the point I'm making here? It's also an industry. There's the market for education, which we have. There's market for aviation. There's market for banking. There's market for insurance. These are markets. So there are different businesses in this market. So the combination of businesses makes that market. And those businesses would want to sell to customers. That's why it's a market. I think the point is clear. So if you have to measure how big or small a market is, we use what? Market size. Do you understand what market size is here now? The measurement of how big or small the market is. So yesterday we were talking about, I forgot, Amira, she was talking about which markets or which, okay, is it a niche market or a mass market that makes more revenue? I said we cannot really say because there's different perception of people. There's different perspective of measuring how you generate income or revenue. My own idea will be different from your own idea. So everybody has what they are looking out for when it comes to knowing what you need to know. So like we have the stakeholders. The stakeholders, they have interest in what we do, but the interests they have are not the same. So what I look out for will be different from what you look out for. So that means we don't have a specific way to know which business makes more money than another. If I want to measure how big a business is, I could measure it based on the numbers of employees they have. I could measure it based on the numbers of teachers they have, based on the numbers of students they have, based on how big the school is. So there are different ways we measure. So that's why there's no specific way. So that same goes to market size. So how big or small a market is will be determined by different factors. Are you guys with me? So the first factor here is the value. We're talking about value. I think you can see clearly, right? Can you see clearly, please? Yeah. Wait. Value. This is the total amount spent by customers buying products. So we can measure the size of a business based on the value. When we're talking about value, we're talking about the amount spent by customers in that market. So how big or small the market is may be based on the amount of money received in terms of revenue in that market. That is value. Do we understand value? So if I'm looking out for value to determine how big a market is, I use value, which is the amount of money generated with the customers in that market. Is value clear? Do we get value? Could I hear please? Yeah. The second one, volume. When we're talking about volume, we're talking about the quantity produced in that market, the output in that market. So if I need to base how big or small the market is, I could use what? Volume. So using volume means the quantity of output in that market. This is the physical quantity of products that are produced and sold. So what is being produced is output. So you base it on what is being produced in that market. That is another way to measure the size of a business or the size of a market. Do we get that point, please? Yeah. Are you guys with me, please? Yeah. So those are the two ways mentioned here. So we have value for size, volume for size. So how big or small the market is might be determined by the value, which is the amount of money sold or the amount of money generated through customers. Quantity, volume, the quantity produced in that market. Any question about market size? Great. We go to market share. When we talk about market share, I'm going to write anyway, as soon as I finish explaining. We go to market share. Why do we call it a market share? We call it a market share because in that market, each business is represented in that market. So what you sell, the percentage of what you sell in that market is your market share. You know, I said a market comprises of different businesses trying to sell to almost the same customers. That is a market. Different businesses trying to sell to the same customers. That makes it a market. So that means when we talk about different businesses, it means there are different brands in the market. For example, the educational industry. We have IKS, we have other schools They are trying to sell to the same customers. Yes or no? Or are there customers in heaven? No. So it means the customers are here. So they are trying to sell to those customers that are here. So the numbers of students, which is volume, that IKS is able to have might be used to determine if IKS is big or small. So the numbers of students IKS has is the market share for IKS. So the formula for the market share is the total brand sale divided by the total market sale multiplied by 100. The total brand sale, right, which means the total value or the total volume of IKS divided by the total volume of all students in the whole of the country multiplied by 100. So the number of students IKS has divided by the total numbers of students all over the country multiplied by 100. That gives you the percentage of IKS in terms of market share. Do we get market share?
Yes.
Do we get it or not?
Yes.
Am I too fast?
No.
I'm too fast, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll try to be slow. So what we're saying is market share. Now, market share simply means the percentage of what you sell in that market. So the percentage of what you sell is the percentage of your own brand. So IKS as a typical example or as a case study. So there are maybe, for example, there are 10,000 students in the whole of Libya going to international schools. IKS is an example. So we say we have 6,000 students from IKS or we have 700 students from IKS. So 700 students of IKS, which is a brand, divided by the 10,000 students multiplied by 100. That gives us the market share for IKS. Is it clear now? Great. So look at the formula. Okay, the formula is here already. Sales of a business, that's the brand sale divided by total sales, which is the market sale multiplied by 100. Any question about that? Any question about that? So here they make the example of the global market for smartphones. We have Samsung, Apple, Huawei, Oppo, and the West. So this is a pie chart, a pictorial representation of the market share. I think we get it.
Yes.
Any question up to now? So we'll move on to